to the AllBrands Show with me, your host today, Courtney Dowlett. So today we are not live. I'm sorry. Today I'm on vacation, but I couldn't leave you guys without a show. So this is pre-recorded, but I will be in the chat. Today we are going to be testing quilting hacks that I found on the internet. Let's see if they actually work. So let's jump into it. The first hack, there you go, is taking your quilt squares or whatever parts your quilt and piecing them using a piece of interfacing. Now, Courtney, how am I going to use interfacing to be able to piece my quilt? So I have these little bitty squares that I cut out with my Scan & Cut. Thank you, Scan & Cut. So what you're supposed to be able to do is take your quilt blocks right here. So I've got two different colors, and you're supposed to just be able to lay them on the interfacing and then iron it down and then fold it together to sew it, and you should be able to get super straight lines. So I'm going to go ahead and just lay all my pieces. So they're supposed to be touching like perfectly with each other, no gaps in between. And they say you'll get perfect corners if you do it this way. So I am all about trying to find a little hack to get perfect corners. There we go. I do feel like if this does work, it is kind of a nice way to lay out all your pieces and be like, oh, okay, I like this one next to this one, especially if you have like multiple colors. So that would be nice. Okay, so I think I did well layering this one, but I feel like this one, there's like a weird gap. I don't know. Alright, so we've laid out all of our pieces like this. And now you're supposed to be able to take your iron and just press. And then that way it activates to that interfacing. If you've never used interfacing before, there's like a rough edge to it, and then there's a smooth edge. So the rough edge is actually the glue that will adhere to the fabric. So this is one-sided, so the other side's just soft. I am worried, is this going to make my quilt feel like stiffer? Because it doesn't wash out. This is, you know, pretty much on there. So if you were using like a water soluble, something like that, that could actually wash out, well then I get that. But let's see. Or maybe it's just so thin and light, it's just gonna feel like, you know, just fabric. All right, we've got the first layer down. So she's on there. Let's go to her second layer. All right, so we've got them all ironed down on here, so it is one solid piece now. All right, so we've got the first one here, so we're going to put right sides together, so I'm just gonna flip it like this, and then I should be able just to sew right down the line. Feels weird not being able to see it, but I'm sure it'll be fine. All right, so I kind of want to see what it looks like. Okay. I mean, it met up. It's pretty good. I don't know. Okay, well, let's keep going, and then we'll turn it all around at the end. I promise I won't peek. I think that was the last one. Let's turn it right sides out to see. Okay, it feels like it's a little stiff. Like, yes, it did a beautiful job. Very, very nice job. but I do feel like it's a little stiff. Like, no. It's not sitting down. Yeah, I feel like it's a bit stiff. Maybe if I iron it. Let's go give it a good iron. It's because it's really wanting to like fold up on itself. All right, just give it a good iron down. Nothing a good iron down can't fix. Okay, I lied. There are some things a good iron down can't fix. Let me show you guys. Okay, so I'm ironing it down, and I feel like it's still, like, you know when you quilt something, you haven't put like an interface in or backing, it's just like the soft quilt. Okay, it did help. It did. Still feels like kind of stiff, especially where like multiple layers had to like go through. It feels very like hard and stiff in those areas. And again, this isn't gonna wash out. So if you had like a super lightweight interfacing, maybe that would work beautifully. Maybe mine was just too stiff, is my thought here. But it did not do a good job. Oh wait, I lied. It didn't do a good job. Okay, I don't know if you can see this, but right here, there's like a little bit of the other fabric that must have slipped under when I was sewing them together. And I tried pretty hard to get them close. So maybe that was probably a me error right there. Because right here where I was like super careful about it, you can tell it met them up really, really well. So I'm gonna say this is Courtney approved. Because it did work. Do I feel like I would ever use it again? No. But it did work. So that's up to you. I don't want to say it's a hack fail because it did work, but I just don't see where it would be beneficial to me. So let me know in the comments, when would you use this hack, and do you feel like this hack would be useful in any kind of way? So the next hack actually consists of cardboard. So it's to actually use cardboard on the back of your foot to help your foot level up whenever you're going through thicker materials. All right, so they're thinking if you have some batting that's super thick, this is actually multiple layers that I've layered, and then your topper and your bottom, they're saying whenever you put your foot down, you see how sometimes it'll angle up. So they recommend adding something in the back right here to help it level out. So let's try it without the cardboard first, so that way we can see. All right, did not like that. I know. All right, so it did not like that. So what they recommend to do to prevent that is to take a piece of cardboard and fold it a few times to put that behind the machine. So we've got our cardboard. I don't know how many layers I'll need. Okay, like that. So that way it puts the foot up. Let's try this. All right, ready? Oh, what? That worked. Hold on. Hold on. Wait a second. Let's do that again. Wait a second. I did not think that was gonna work. Wait a second. Hold on. Okay, so try it without again. Yeah, let's even put it like here. Okay. Go. Does not want to do that. Okay. I don't want to hurt my machine. All right, now let's put the cardboard back underneath like this. Put it right here. Put down, go, okay. What? I did feel like I did have to like kick it off just a little bit. Also, can we talk about how thick the Avenir can sew? That's kind of insane. Okay, so that does work, which that was super impressive to be able to do this like super thick material. And all it did was just lift up that back foot. Now there is a thing called a seam jumper, and it essentially does that already. But what I do for mine, so I usually use this foot right here, which is my walking foot, my multi-foot, and it's got these like really beefy feet that go on it. So usually I would use this instead of that, but if you didn't have this, like this has like those little roller that rolls it in, so it works with the dog feed and this roller to be able to do super thick fabric. So I'll show you how to do that. But if you didn't have this foot, like what a fun alternative. But again, I usually just use this one, and it's a beast. Then I go ahead and put that on there. And look, I'm not even touching it. Like, This is crazy. So this is the one I usually use whenever I want like super thick material. Like, it's just eating it. It's like really good. But the way that it works is because of that roller on there. So let me show you. Oh my gosh, this thing is so thick. But it like went through it like it was nothing. Yeah, you see that roller right there? It's like this conveyor belt that works with the dog feed. And so it goes in there. So I wouldn't even need that cardboard spot or that cardboard piece, because as long as like a little bit is touching that roller right there, it's gonna feed it through. And like it catches on it, and then it's just fantastic. So with the cardboard, I had to like push it to get it to go a little bit, and then one, it's cardboard, to make the foot go up and kind of force it through. But this one, the walking foot, that multi-foot, it's like that conveyor foot goes through. So if you didn't have that, there's a little workaround, but I do just use that foot. So I'm gonna say Courtney approved, because again, it worked. Would I do it? Probably not, because I could just use that foot with that conveyor belt on there, and it's fantastic. So if you have that foot and it's humongous, good workaround. We're finding some workarounds today. The next hack is actually putting on binding. That's supposed to be a hack that helps you make your binding a little bit quicker. So it said to use some cardstock or some paper that's pretty heavy and measure out 2 inches from the side. So I've gone ahead, measured out 2 inches and marked it at the top and at the bottom. And I'm gonna go ahead and fold it on that 2-inch mark. That way I can just fold it and then cut down that, because we only want it 2 inches. It can be however long you want. This is a bit long. I'll probably cut it down, but at least I can get the 2-inch mark. Oh, some thick cardstock. There we go. All right, so I'm just gonna take my scissors here. Okay, that's probably good enough. There we go. Now looking at this, it's kind of large for what I want my binding to be. So I am gonna go ahead and cut it down to be a 1 inch on each side. So together it'd be 2 inches, but right now this is 2 inches, so 4 inches together. I'm gonna make mine into a 1 inch. All right, so now we have our little piece here. She's very little. And what I did already was fold it in half, and now I'm going to fold it again. So we're going to fold the outer parts towards that center line on both sides. Okay, like that. All right, and go ahead and make sure it can close. All right, so now it kind of looks like a little heart. There we go. So I'm supposed to be able to open it up like this. I'm gonna take my binding fabric. Usually it would be much longer, but this is just an example. I'm gonna come over to my ironing station because I'm supposed to fold at least the front part in half to kind of like start it. So I'm gonna fold it in half like this, and then just do a quick little iron to know where the center is. And it says you're only supposed to have to do this on the front part, so I'm not even doing it on the whole piece, because usually I'd have this really long piece I'd have to be doing it on. All right, now I'm gonna fold those in half like this. So just how we normally would do binding, I suppose. All right, and then we iron that down a little bit. Again, only the front part is what we're supposed to be able to do on this hack, instead of having to do the whole thing. All right, now we're supposed to take our little cardboard piece that we've made and lay it in there. Okay, and then it's supposed to match up to the parts we folded. There we go. Okay, like that. And then the rest of it's supposed to just hang out at the bottom. It kind of feels like a binding maker, which we're kind of used to, but okay. And now, supposed to be able to pull some out from the top. It's kind of tight, I don't know. Okay, there we go, perfect. All right, so now we're supposed to be able to put this on the edge of our quilt, okay? And like have it hug it, like this. Okay, I'm seeing it. And so now I don't have any backing, but I'm supposed to be able to sew and then just like pull, 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 pull as it's sewing, and it should be making it as we go. So let's bring it over to a sewing machine and see, does this work? I feel like I could pull it. Ah. I can't pull it. Okay. It's kind of hard to pull. Okay, sandwich it back in there. Okay, let's get some stitches. Maybe once we get some stitches, will that lock it down better? That's the thought. Okay, it's getting close to it. So now I'm gonna pull. It's kind of hard to pull. I mean, it's working. You can see that. It is working. So I can't fault it on that one. It is making it, and it is folded inside of there. So it is working. Okay. Pull. Do you see how I'm really having to pull this thing? I'm fighting for my life on it. Okay, let's try it again. Okay. Pull, pull, pull. I'm worried, is it, you know, holding on the back side? When we flip it over, is it still going to be on there? Alright, coming to the end. Alright. Alright, it survived. And it did do the binding. Did it do it on the back? Okay, my batting fell out. So, but that's on me. Yeah, it worked. I'm gonna say no. I'm actually gonna say hack fail. Now I'm thinking about it, because I was gonna say yeah, it worked, but my batting fell out. Because I was so worried about pulling this thing to get it through that things were slipping. So, and you couldn't, maybe if you made sure it was pinned really well, your batting and your quilt top, you know, usually we do put like, you know, a few safety pins or pins in there, then it would work, and your batting shouldn't slip out like how my batting slipped out. Because again, I was so worried about pulling this thing while we were going that I wasn't checking it. I should have checked it more. But usually when I do my binding, I use my Wonder Clips, and my Wonder Clips get clipped all the way around, and so I never have my batting slipping out, even if I don't, you know, secure it to the top like this. So I'm gonna say hack fail, because I feel like I'm gonna have to watch it so closely, and so it didn't do it seamlessly, and I would have to change the way I quilt to accommodate it. So I feel like my method of just using my Wonder Clips would probably work a lot better. If you've never used Wonder Clips, they're so good. It's pinning your fabric, but there's nothing sharp about it. You just boop, boop, boop. And I have tons of little ones that are usually running around my sewing room. So Wonder Clips for the win. I'll link them down below. So I'm going to say hack fail on this one. So yes, it did make the binding. It was just super tedious, and it did mess up my quilt. So I'm going to say hack fail on this one. Let me know down in the comments which one of these hacks was your favorite, and if you're going to try any of these. I don't think I'd do the interfacing one again. The cardboard hack worked, but again, I have that walking foot, so I don't think I'd use it. But if you don't have that foot, so that one might actually be my favorite one, because again, I wouldn't use it, but someone out there definitely could use it. If you're using, like, doing bag making, sometimes you have to do so many layers when you're doing bag making. That could come in handy. So let me know down in the comments which one is your favorite, and don't forget that the Brother Avenir, I'm so used to saying Scanica, the Brother Avenir is available in our retail stores. And again, we have a website, allbrands.com, that has tons of sewing notions, machines, all sorts of things. So definitely check out allbrands.com. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. Again, I'm so sorry that I am not live, but I am on the beach right now with my kiddos. So I will see you guys back whenever I am back from vacation. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.